Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay.
Okay.
So, good evening.
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
And he's going to talk to us about Peace Day. And we can listen to your speech a little bit, and then we can ask you questions, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Well, hello everyone. It's great to be talking to your college in Mexico. I've been to Mexico, many times over the years. It's an incredible country, and you're in a wonderful city. I'm delighted that you're all celebrating and marking the 21st of September, Peace Day, ceasefire and non-violence. What there is to say, I think it's been very interesting being on the road for the last 17 years. We created the day, the 21st of September, with a fixed calendar date voted by the Mexican government and indeed every government in the world, every member state of the United Nations. And then, of course, as you've probably seen from the film The Day After Peace, that it was very successful in Afghanistan, and everybody became involved in the process. And as a consequence of that, 1.4 million children were vaccinated against polio because everybody agreed not to fight or harm the humanitarian workers, which was obviously incredible. The last few years, since then, we've been trying to make sure as many people around the world as possible know about the day. And all sectors of society have been included in that process. Governments and UN agencies, NGOs, domestic abuse organizations, schools, universities, faiths, and sports organizations, musicians, actors. It really has been incredible, and the numbers are growing very fast. You're a reason that is a success. Your school is a reason that it's a success. And that's obviously fantastic. And I applaud and congratulate you all, on your efforts for the 21st of September and the incredible day that you're going to have. There was around 280 million people aware in 2012. Around 476 million aware in 2013, 610 million in 2014, close to 1 billion people very aware this year. That we're exposed around 2 billion this year, exposing around 2 billion people that the 21st of September is a day of peace. And I, just repeat that the reason that's a success is because of your school and other schools, your teachers. Everybody, is getting behind the day, recognizing that the day has benefits. We need to do a lot of peace building work, all of us. And the 21st of September is a day where we really can build peace, one day at a time. I'm really excited to see what's happening. What we're also seeing is that there is a decrease of violence on this day. And that's extraordinary. There's a decrease of violence on the day because people behave differently. And because of that behavioural change, then there are less people being bullied, there are less people being hit, humanitarian activity is taking place, people are saying sorry, reconciling their differences, building relationships that are constructive. All of those things are creating a world that's less violent. I think it's very interesting that 98%, approximately, around that kind of number, of the world, the violence that takes place today, around 98% of the violence that takes place today is happening in our homes, in our communities, and in our schools. Only around 2% is happening through terrorism and war. So the real war that humanity faces, the real violence that we have to really deal with, we all therefore have a role to play. This, peace and violence. This isn't a third world issue. This is a first world issue. This is a third world issue. This is an everybody issue. Every human being in the world on the 21st of September has the opportunity to make peace with someone. There might be a brother that you've fallen out with, a sister, a father, a mother, a friend, someone at school that you've fallen out with. And the 21st is that opportunity to reach out and say sorry, to reconcile your differences, and that changes the quality of our lives. I know from personal experience that when there are people in the family who are not talking with each other, then it's very difficult for the family to be a unit. It makes it very complicated, and so therefore, if we're making peace in our own families and in our schools, then we really are having a huge impact on people's belief in peace and the hope that they have, that things don't need to be this way and that things can change. I really think that belief in peace, belief in the role that we have as individuals is absolutely crucial to humanity's survival. Peace is in our hands, and we can make a huge contribution as individuals, particularly when we unite, we stand together as one in the name of peace and sustainability. That happening on a global scale is something that we've never seen happen in our history, and we're at the beginnings of seeing that occur, that there is a day of unity on this planet. There is a day of intercultural cooperation on this planet. There is a day when we stand as one together and unite in the name of peace. And that is what's happening, and you are a part of that. And we need to do everything that we can to take as many people as possible to join us on the 21st. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy. Some of the students have some questions, so they're going to be coming up and asking you.
Great.
What happened in your life that made you want to have an International Day of Peace?
Why did I want to have? Look, I originally, when I set out on this journey, I wanted to make a film about peace because I was confused by what was going on in the world. I didn't understand what was happening in my home, or I didn't understand what was going on at school. I was bottom of the class. I have no qualifications. I found it very difficult to read and write. I was humiliated as a consequence of that and laughed at. And I found that very difficult to deal with. I also was working in television and seeing the conflict, thinking about my home, thinking about school, looking at the television. I was confused and frightened. And the only skill that I've got is as a filmmaker. And so I decided to use my film camera to make a film about peace, to answer some questions for myself, speak to older, wiser people, and perhaps it could give you some insights of how to make sense of life. But then as I was going through that research, I realised as I was thinking about the starting point for the film, I started to think about the starting point for peace. And that's when I realised there wasn't one. There was no day of peace, the feast to date. There was no day of ceasefire, of violence. There wasn't a day to stop the violence in our homes, communities, schools. And that's when I had the idea. I thought, wow, that's amazing. Maybe with the camera I can go on a journey and try and create that day. I thought I would film maybe for a year. Of course, as you know, because it was successful, it's 17 years later. And it's been an extraordinary journey. I love it. Thank you.
Sorry. Do you think that your endeavor would have been nearly as successful if there hadn't been any celebrity to help promote peace?
Well, I think it's a really interesting question, and thank you for that question. I think that celebrities are very important to helping raise awareness of something. But there are kind of four. There are four fundamental pillars to a successful campaign. And if you take any one of them away, then I think it's very difficult to gain traction. The first of those four pillars is a good idea. So the first thing you have to have is a good idea that is well researched, that it's clear that there is some kind of contribution that it can make. So number one is the idea. Number two is a constituency of people, from corporations to young people, schools, universities. There's a constituency of people who are willing to embrace that idea, to support that idea, to become involved in that idea. So if you take away the people, then again, it won't happen. So a good idea, a constituency of people. You also, the third pillar is you have finance. Unfortunately. I wish money did not factor. I really wish it didn't. It's incredibly difficult to finance programs, but we all find our ways of doing that, and certainly we found our way. But so money is the third factor, is the fuel in the tank, in order to race for peace. And the final one is that you need to manifest awareness. Because without awareness, then it's very difficult to raise finance, it's very difficult to create a constituency of people, it's very difficult to do anything. And then you ask yourself, well, how do I get awareness? How do I generate awareness? And the reality is that nobody's really interested in me. I'm just a normal guy. I'm just like you. We're people. We're not famous people. So the press take my photograph and don't really want me on the news channels. But they are very interested in someone like Angelina Jolie, or they are very interested in Jude Law, or they are very interested in any other actor, musician that you care to mention. And a lot of these actors and musicians know a lot about the issues. They are not doing it for their own publicity. They can get that anyway. That's why they're successful. They write songs. They're doing it because they care, and they're doing it because they want help. And people like Jude Law and Angelina Jolie, Jude's commitment to the journey has been absolutely phenomenal and extraordinary and lengthy. And when he traveled and acted and put himself at risk for the cause, it's phenomenal. And I'm immensely grateful to all of those phenomenal musicians and artists who have helped us. So I think that's probably a detailed but an honest answer to your question. They are fundamentally important in relation to the awareness aspect of the four pillars to make a successful campaign.
Hi. So, what motivated you to not give up on your mission for an International Day of Peace?
I think, thank you for the question. Nice to meet you. What motivated me? I guess what motivated me right at the beginning of the journey, I started to see, children particularly that were in a terrible situation, like a frightening, disturbing situation. My journeys into all kinds of areas of the world, particularly when I was in Somalia in early 2000. I kind of found a situation which I really didn't think existed on this planet. It was very unfair and very, very worrying. And I think that seeing this sort of touched my heart in such a deep way. I felt a sense of responsibility as an individual who had accommodation and food and friends and family around me that were willing to support. I felt that I had an obligation to continue. I felt responsible to continue. I felt like they couldn't change the predicament that they were in that moment, but I could change mine. I have the privilege that and I want to be responsible with that. I want to acknowledge that within myself, and certainly, do everything I could to make a small contribution in the world in relation to decreasing violence and empowering and inspiring people to become involved in the peace process. And that's why I think every one of you, I applaud you for being here in this talk with us. We've this moment together. But really, work hard as you can for the 21st through your social media channels and your Twitter and your Facebook. Really, do everything that you can to get as many people as involved, because honestly, it has a real impact. Your efforts have a serious impact. Somebody will say sorry as a consequence of the action that you take. Somebody will become a friend with somebody else. These bridges are what empower those who are lost, scared, to to see things differently. And that's a really powerful thing, a really important thing. We really need to protect those around us, and make sure that we're all believers in peace and that there is hope.
What did you do to convince people in Afghanistan, meaning the Taliban movement, to have a ceasefire and peace for one day so you could cure polio in those villages?
Well, great question. We did a lot of writing of letters. Like thousands. I went over there with June, as you know, as an ambassador for us. That generated a lot of media and a lot of attention. We went on television shows, we went on radio shows. We were spreading the word that this day was coming. That was an opportunity. We met teams from WHO and from UNICEF. We met all the UN agencies. We met doctors. We met elders. We met government officials. We met ISAF. We met NATO. We met local soldiers. We went into schools. We met people of worship and people of faith. We worked very closely with the UN system. We worked with an incredible woman called Fatima Galani, who's in my film, who is phenomenally connected and respected. She helped get the word out to the provinces that this was going on, and it was a major sort of network-like process. Everybody, that there was this opportunity. We were making this film. We could all do this together, and if we did it together, then there was polio vaccinations to become a reality. The United Nations worked incredibly hard, by UNICEF, WHO, and other UN agencies, as well as other many bodies. So it came of galvanizing and recruiting and persuading everyone we could to participate. In the same way that you will have an idea for Peace Day, it might involve art, it might involve music, it might involve literature, it might involve sport, it might involve the whole school. But there are people, your teachers, yourselves, who are going to have to write the email, send a tweet, make a phone call, and that's what it takes. It takes a commitment to see things really happen. And I would urge you as young people, to, everything that you do for this 2015, incredible. But then, when the day's over, look at what you could do to get other schools in Mexico involved, to reach out to the country, the difference that you can make as individuals, given that you've seen the journey that I've gone on, and you would have all gone on individual journeys yourself and done and achieved great things. negotiations, whatever that looks like. So I urge you to just do what we did and, just make stuff happen. Because, I know from being in Mexico or in the UK or in Afghanistan or in India or in Costa Rica or, I don't know, the Great Lakes region of Africa, the Democratic Republic of Congo, all countries are dealing with issues. We become frightened about these things. And that fear disempowers us. And we've got to get out of the fear. We've got to get into hope. We don't need to blame or shame or ridicule. We don't need to point the finger at anybody, say that they're wrong and we're right. No, that's not what this day is about. It's all embracing and welcoming to the table those who want to join in.
How did you manage to convince people of peace after the Twin Towers attack? What was the first thing that came to your mind when the Twin Towers fell?
Oh my goodness. Wow, that's a good question. I mean, that was just one moment, wasn't it? It was such an extraordinary moment. I think what was really going on for me at that point was the need that we had created this day, the very day that it was going to get announced to the world, literally within moments of both of those things happening. Obviously, the Twin Towers fell, and it made me, I can't give up. We've got to work really hard because we've created this day in light of something like this happening. And this is precisely why, in a year's time, the first day is when we get people involved. Because when we see these things happen, we can't let them, destroy our belief, our motivation, the hope that we have within us. I think it has to be this. We have to look at these moments when we fail. We need to see those failures as actually the moments where we reflect, we regroup, we have a better understanding of ourselves as to why we might have fallen over and how we can move forward without perhaps falling over again. So when somebody says no to me, or indeed when I failed through 17 years, I genuinely look at those moments of success. They are the moments where I learn most about myself. They are the moments that energize me, fuel me to get success. I think that when we see these things happen, we must strengthen our resolve and our commitment to one day seeing the world, the level of consciousness around the fundamental issues that we face has evolved into a place where such things don't happen. So, these are testing times in your own personal lives, and every one of you will go through this. There are going to be moments where your life is difficult, but dig deep into yourself in that moment and learn, breathe, and regroup and go again.
Has the corruption in the area where you have worked affected the achievement of a ceasefire for at least one day?
Has corruption?
Yeah, affected the achievement of the ceasefire.
No, I think that, as I was just saying on that last question, and I'll just give short answers now so we can get to those people who would like to ask a question, but effectively, no, I don't think, I think there are all kinds of obstacles that are in the way, and it's a very good question. And that's what I was trying to get to in the answer of the last question. There are all kinds of forces that are working against us, but we must not focus on them. We must focus on the good, the positive, and be a threat to those who have particular issues. Nobody needs to be threatened by our own individual efforts, and therefore, yes, I think there are things that might affect the way, but I don't focus on them. Whatever we're able to achieve, no matter how big or small, it's an achievement, and it's something that we can build upon. So we have to have good expectations about our success. In fact, expectation about our success and whatever we're able to do is a great thing because it's better than doing nothing. Okay, next question. Yeah, hi.
Do you think you will extend your project to Mexico and other countries in the Americas?
Do I think I will come to Mexico?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love Mexico. I've been to Mexico many times, and right now I'm concentrating in the Great Lakes region of Africa. But there's a lot that's happening in Latin America, Mexico. I mean, there's a lot happening, that's been going on, in South America, and I think it's just incredible. And Mexico, a lot happens in Mexico on this day, and you guys are, helping to drive that. And I look forward to coming back, Messi. Your President Vicente, I've just been speaking with him on the phone, and just days ago, Vicente, Mr. Fox, Mr. President Fox, and I hope that we will be able to do great things there in the coming years.
Do we have time for another one?
Yeah, come on, let's do it.
How did you feel as you walked toward Afghanistan?
How did I feel when I was there?
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'll tell you what, it's a really incredible country, and the people in Afghanistan are just extraordinary. I mean, really, it's a really special place. But then the world's like that, isn't it? Wherever you go, you see these courageous, passionate, wonderful people. That just obviously it's a joy traveling. But I love our country. We've done a lot of great work there. Great things are happening there for Peace Day this year, and I hope that continues. It's very exciting to see the amount of people that are becoming involved, whether they're in Afghanistan or Mexico, the United States of America. Awareness is growing fast, and it's great to see.
Hi.
Hiya.
I would just like to thank you on behalf of our school to dedicate just a little bit of your time to talk to us and to answer our questions. Thank you.
Well, listen, look, I mean, thank you so much. Daniela and the team have done a great job in getting us together today. And, your questions were awesome, and there's a great energy in the room. Just a bunch of very happy people. I just feel very privileged to have shared this time, and I really wish you the very best of luck on the 21st of September. Do everything that you can to tell as many people as possible. You're making the world a more peaceful place. Go, have a great day, and it's wonderful to meet you all.